Volume 4, Number 8. The season begins. As everybody was piling in the car to see Elijah play his first game after weeks of practice and training, Michael didn't miss one practice. Oh, son, I'm so proud of you. Miss Yokoshoto hurried into the car. Everybody was excited about this first game. Pee Wee baseball, said Dad. It's an exciting time. Elijah was excited. As they got to the baseball field, as everybody was suited up and ready to go, they were playing the opposing team, and it was a Pee Wee baseball game, which was, of course, short innings, but nonetheless, it was Pee Wee baseball. Of course, Coach Thompson and Coach Johnson were their coaches for the team. Coach Johnson and Thompson were both very used to working with youngsters. And of course, the teammates were excited to see Elijah. As the game continued to, uh, conditioning and practicing was part of the team practice. They were ready to get the game started. As they were practicing their swings and getting their mitts ready and the balls warmed up, the game was about to start. As the concession stand was open, Jenny and the kids were ready to go over to the concession stand immediately for ice cream. Jenny asked Mom for ice cream, of course, and as Jenny was holding her 7-month old Josiah and her 19-month old in the carriage, as she had the stroller, the double stroller, it was an exciting time to be at the game. Mom and Dad couldn't be any more proud. This was exciting. It was great for Miss Yokoshoto as well to see her grandson play baseball. He talked all about the game from morning, noon, and night, not to mention the spring recital that just was weeks ago. Jenny was just coming off a big spring recital. There's so much buzz around the spring recital to begin with, and baseball beginning today. It was just enough to keep everybody so busy. As the babies were growing up, it was really the first summer where the pool was actually going to be useful. So there was a lot of buzz. This is it for us, said Mom to Tom. We really couldn't have it any better. Our grandkids are getting older. It's time to really enjoy the summer. We're winding down to spring as summer's about to begin. The kids are almost out of school. I think the last day of school is tomorrow, to be honest with you, said Grace. Yeah, in fact, Elijah said that they have a half day tomorrow, said Jenny. Yeah, Mom, half day tomorrow. Oh, that's excellent. A half day of school tomorrow. We finally made it. It was a really rough winter, wasn't it? We made it through, Mom, said Jenny. We made it through. Ah, Grace just breathed a sigh of relief. As they got ice cream at the concession stand, the game was well on its way. Elijah was batting up, well, actually, he was on deck, so they didn't want to miss Elijah up at bat. Dad was still in the stands watching diligently, rooting on his son. Go, Elijah. Come on, Elijah. Focus on that ball. And of course, Elijah was focused and he hit the ball right in the middle, line drive, right into outfield. Already winning the coaches' hearts, Coach Johnson and Coach Johnson. Coach Johnson and Coach Thompson were both very elated. He's a great ball player, said Coach Thompson to Coach Johnson. They already see a future as he made it to first base. So as the game wore on, this continued. He kept hitting balls into the outfield, line drive into the shortstop, and then making it to first base. So he was hitting balls. He wasn't missing them, is the point of the whole game. By the time seventh inning stretch came in, everybody was relaxed and enjoying the game. This was a great game so far. Elijah was doing excellent. His hitting skills are in tremendous, said Coach Johnson, as they just kept checking the clipboard at his hits, and they were just impressed with his performance. He's going to be ready for Little League probably next year as he's going into fourth grade. So just be prepared. We only have one season with this kid, said Coach Johnson. Well, as buzz was going around about how good Elijah really was, they didn't realize. Miss Yokoshoda said, "I cannot believe how well he's doing. He's doing excellent. This is a future. This is a future aspiration," said Mrs. Yokoshoda to Grace. Grace was impressed too. And Grace leaned over to Michael and said, "Michael, you should have told me he was doing this well." And Michael said, "I didn't even realize how good he was doing until I saw it myself. Sometimes seeing is believing," said Mrs. Yokoshodo. And Mom and Dad were in the background watching as well in the bleachers. Well, it came down to the ninth inning, and Elijah's team was winning by 3 points. And of course, as the hit was into the home run, actually, it was a grand slam, and they sealed the game. Elijah was up on deck, and this was really the last of the game. Elijah was the last up, and he hit another line drive into center field. And that was really the last of the game. They won 7-3. And really, it was a victory. I mean, to say the least. Michael was surprised, but not surprised. He saw how well his son did, and it was no wonder Michael and Grace were proud. They saw how great of a ball player their son was. It really was a fever pitch, but nonetheless, they were excited to see Elijah after the game. While he was so dusty from the field, coaches came up to him and said, "You really have a great ball player. He's going to do great as he continues. Just tell him to keep conditioning and keep at it," said Coach Thompson and Coach Johnson. Wow, Grace was really proud. Mrs. Yokoshoda shook their hand, the coaches, that is, and went about her way. As everybody piled in the cars and they got the strollers into the vehicles, they headed off and they wanted to get ice cream. "Since Jenny already had ice cream," said Grace, "we're really going to get just Elijah an ice cream cone first. Why don't we just go to the concession stand since they're open?" "That's perfect. We'll just go to the concession stand and get him an ice cream cone and head home." "Let's do that." "This is it," said Elijah. "This is what I want to do. I want to become a Major League Baseball player. That's my future, Dad." "And son," said Michael, "that may very well happen. The way you play out there, you play like a pro. You really have a future in baseball if you keep doing what you're doing. Just keep listening to the coaches, be obedient, pray, and believe. Look at Tim Tebow. Look at how he performed as a baseball player. Look after your mentors and just follow along with your dreams. Believe and believe in Jesus. You can soar to great heights, son." Grace was so impressed. Mrs. Yokoshodo said, "I cannot believe how great you are. You're doing so fantastic, son. It's so impressive. I've never thought you would reach such great heights. You've moved me in so many ways." Everybody was just impressed with his performance. By the time they got home, they couldn't get enough of his performance. And they also mentioned to Jenny, "Jenny, your performing arts is spectacular. We don't want to forget you." As the babies were starting to whimper, it was time to put the babies down as it was getting close to bedtime. Having a 7-month-old and a 19-month-old, they get kind of fussy. "It's time to get them to bed," said Mrs. Yokoshodo. "Let me put them to bed," said Mrs. Yokoshodo. "Are you sure?" said Grace. "Jessica just came in, and she said she would help." "Mrs. Yokoshodo," said to Jessica, "I'll help you." As they put the girls, well, in this case, Josiah and Melissa to bed. It was a lot easier, Mrs. Yokoshoda said to Jessica. It's easier with a little help. Doesn't it help, Jessica? Jessica nodded in agreement. She always enjoyed Mrs. Yokoshoda's help. Of course it is. I love your help. All that night, they could just dream about baseball, and the American dream is still alive. What pride they had in their son. Has he really brought hope to them? There's hope in American dreams. Again, they believe that baseball is the ticket to the American dream. Wow, said Grace. Mom and Dad were about to turn in themselves, so they headed home. They said, thank you for an enjoyable night. We really enjoyed watching Elijah. Well, we're going to head home. We need to get some sleep. As everybody was ready to turn in early, it was getting late. The stars were shining bright, and Elijah was cleaning up after baseball and head to bed too, and Jenny as well. Mom and Dad went upstairs to kiss the kids goodnight and made sure that they hugged them and said a little prayer. And it was so sweet. As the stars were sparkling into Elijah's bedroom, Elijah said to Dad, Dad, thank you for being there for me and supporting me. This is my dream come true. And there was this book with the moon crescent and a prayer saying good night. And he said, son, the Lord is with you, and he's watching over you, and so is Zio, the angel. Thank you, Dad. I'm so proud of what I've accomplished. I know you believe in me, and I know my angel Zio is watching over me. Indeed, son. Good night. I love you. And Mom came in as soon as that was going on. Grace came in and gave Elijah a kiss goodnight. What a beautiful evening it's been. As they kissed Jenny goodnight. Jenny, we love you. You did so well in your performance. We haven't forgotten. I know, Mom. You know, this was Elijah's night. Elijah did excellent. I'm so proud of my brother. We know. We are so proud of you. We love you. Good night, sweetheart. Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Your angel Zia is watching over you. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad, as Jenny turned over and went to bed. They walked downstairs, and as they approached downstairs, they just kept dreaming about baseball. Baseball was on their mind. It was like the American flag was flying as they recalled the national anthem sung by a young high school sweetheart. It was a half day of school the next day. So as soon as the school bell rang, they realized they had to pick up the kids early. Oh, wow. Picking up this kids' half days at school was a delight. The kids were free for the summer. This was it. Finally, last day of school, as the kids rushed into the car, saying to Mom and Dad, yay, school's out, school's out. Congratulations, kids. You made it through one more year. Now it's on to fourth grade. Is it fourth grade, Mom? Am I going into fourth grade? No, I think you're going into third grade. That's right. I will be in fourth grade next year, right? Yeah, that's correct. Sorry, son. I'm relaxed. I'm relieved that you kids made it through another year, though. I keep wondering how much longer. Well, never mind, son. I'm just glad you got through another year. Get in the car. Let's go home. As school is out and accomplishments that you have accomplished, your grades look good. Your report card is great. Your accomplishments from your teachers, your everything. I'm reading all these notes from your teachers. You've done so well, and your performance was great in school. Your discipline, everything. I am so impressed. Wait till your dad gets this report. He's going to be so happy with this. As the kids were gleaming and happy and so excited, as they came home, Dad read over the report card and said, wow, kids, you deserve so much for your hard work. And I'm so proud of all of you. Since school's out, we're going to enjoy our summer and our summer break. And this is the end of the series.